So thank you everyone for coming to the conference. And I thank all the sponsors and partners for making this happen. For the last few weeks, we have been managing tail risks in many terms, from venues to a lot of things. We were thrown some of the extreme risks, uncertainty and all that. I was joking with one of my speakers. She was the global head of Goldman Sachs, Citigroup and Nomura. That our topic is on uncertainty, and we are facing a lot of uncertainty here. Recently, when India-Pak war and all those things, then venue and all those uncertainty were coming up. And I was joking with Rishi that we have been managing this for last few weeks. So anyway, I'm very happy that I'm able to see such a huge crowd. We did some events in Mumbai, and that was excellent. We had some of the best people from across the industry. We had the global speakers also. So the primary motive of LAQSA is to create a platform that is world standard, world class, global standard. Because somewhere we have a rich history. If we look at the ancient India, we had a very rich history, but somehow we have lost that. And we should regain that again. Then only we can emerge, because research, I think, research and education are two things which can lead the country's GDP in multiple fronts. And that's very important, because if you look at the developed countries, they are some of the world's best institutions. So that's the vision of LAQSA, is to create a platform for the industry to talk about quantitative things, artificial intelligence, machine learning, across the domain. Risk management, it's not just finance, even these are medical sciences also, quant and artificial intelligence and all those things are applied. So we have to be at the front, because I have been interacting with a lot of people at the global. I have been closely working. I basically head CQF Delhi Society as well. I am also the part of GARP, FRM. And CQF Times Pro is also one of the sponsors. So based on my global experience, I see that there is somewhere gap. As I was talking to Rishi, that I recall my interaction with John Nash, you know, A Beautiful Mind. I used to interact with him long back when he was alive. Very humble and genius man. I recall his quote that the best results come from the combined effort of everyone. You just don't have to look individually, you also have to look for as a group perspective. Then only you can get the best result. If anyone thinks that by being aloof or secluded on individual terms, if trying to maximize the thing without caring for the group, it is not going to happen. If the country does not grow, I don't think any company can grow beyond a limit, or any institutions. But somewhere I'm lacking. Even Daniel Kahneman, one of the Nobel laureates, he told that our minds often talk about, I know. It does not let us think that I don't know. And somewhere I feel that in India we have that more. We often try to emphasize that I know. So I don't know is not a risk, but I don't know that I don't know is a bigger risk. So we have to first, for a research or education, first of all, we have to accept that something we don't know. Because when we accept that we don't know, then our minds try to figure out the answers and all those things. If we keep filling the vacuum by satisfying our mind that I know everything, then there is no research. Because we'll be talking about that. So, and there is a wonderful chance for everyone to get a book by Paul Wilmot. Paul Wilmot, who is the internationally renowned quantitative finance expert. You have a chance to win his self-signed copy of his book. So you can get at the counter from the CQF counter. So I invite my colleague, Christopher Grun. He's a global, he has around 35 years of experience. He has worked at some of the best institutions, State Street, World Bank, and all those things. He has also done MBA from Columbia Business School long back, and he's also CQF, CFA. He has been on the board of CFA, Japan, Africa, and all those things. So I'll be engaging with some interaction and discussion that how he looks from the global perspective and how India should work on that. So welcome, Chris. So thank you.
I'm all right. Can everyone hear me? I guess we need mics. Okay.
I think I
might shouting.
come there, I come there.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I think better to face each other.
Okay.
So, and please accept some randomness when I talk, because that's my nature. So, Chris, what I was talking, we have set up this association. We try to promote quant and learning, education, and research for the industry as a whole. And I personally see that, based on my global experience, there are a lot of research going on in factors, risk management, and all those things. Because, say for example, I just give you a question that there are two strategies, both are giving say 20% return. One has a drawdown of 10%, one has a drawdown of 20%. Which is more risky? Most people would say 20% drawdown is more risky. But can you figure out a scenario where 10% drawdown is more risky? So there are a lot of typical questions if you go into deep into the risk management side. Even less volatile could be more risky. You know, sometimes you must be hearing that people don't have any visual symptoms and then suddenly they have a heart attack, unfortunately. There are a lot of silent risk also. And what we observe, the problem is statistics and traditional risk metrics is that those are often calculated in backward direction of time on the observable data. But the real risks also comes from the unobservable things that we don't see in future. So I feel that risk management factors and a lot of things, artificial intelligence and all those things are quite serious topic, and we need to do research. And LAQSA provides you a platform. My vision is that I could bring some of the top-notch people I've worked with and I know to India. Recently, I also went to Abu Dhabi Investment Authority. We are also thinking to collaborate. I'm also going to New York University. I've been invited there. So I'm trying to create a platform to bring some of the best people to India, where we could, as a platform, we have a chance to interact with, we have to do some research, collaboration, and then we can grow as a thing. So research is like a long option. Do you agree to this? Research is a long option in the long term, rather than a costly options. How do you think?
Yeah, no, it's a nice analogy.
Please share your experience as well, based on you have a huge global experience and in India as well.
Right. Yeah, no, that's a nice analogy. There's a cost to research. You're going to spend time, effort, money to do research. And then occasionally, and sometimes it can take quite a lot of time, but occasionally you hit a home run. You find something that really works. You know, it's something that hasn't been uncovered by the market. And so yeah, it is in a sense it's like a long call option. Yeah, you made a lot of good points, Pankaj. Maybe just a quick show of hands. How many people are managing money for institutions or individuals or you know, who is managing money now? Okay, yeah, it's quite a few. So some of what I'm going to say, it won't be a surprise, or you know, I'm probably not telling you anything that you don't know. But when you go from research and developing a strategy, it eventually is going to collide with reality. And you know, what I've found is that you know, not the fanciest, most complex model is not always the best. because in some cases you just can't trade it, you can't implement. Um, and that is such a key thing. And I think a lot of people who have been in the industry for a long time, they'll tell you the same thing. It's actually not, it's not your signal. It's not, you know, do you pick the best stocks? It's everything else. It's all those other small details which, you know, people tend to forget, or it's not that glamorous. But it's, you know, it's things like, how do you implement the model? How do you deal with, is there, if it's a small cap strategy, is there enough liquidity to actually put your model into action? If it's a different market, we were running about 30 countries across emerging markets, and there were, you know, there were just some countries that were off limits, or some countries that were only available to domestic investors. So you could have a great model, but then you couldn't implement. And then just other things, you know, trading issues, and you know, dealing with corporate actions, and dealing with inflows and outflows, and, you know, in a short, in one word, I would say operations. Oh, and also risk management, money management. You know, managing cash, and managing, you know, how much you have in cash and how invested you are in. So, but yeah, in a single word, it's operations of your fund or funds. And, you know, this is something that gets left out a lot of times, but this can actually be at least as important as your actual signals or your model.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. So definitely, see, one area where I think that risk management is quite important. That's where we need to work out a lot. We often tend to focus on return and all those things. But if you are exposed to tail risk and all those kind of stuff, then in the long run you are not going to survive. So, say for example, I was discussing on the LAQSA members group day before yesterday that what is the risk metrics that you are using? I just wanted to know. Most people came up with drawdown, volatility, and all those things, standard deviation, and all those things. But do you really think that works in the tail risk scenario? So that is a very important question that needs to be looked at. Because technically speaking, these Gaussian type metrics work under certain set of conditions. They are not valid for some extreme scenarios. And like we came from Newton to Einstein, when the time was absolute to time is relative, even we need to change that perspective in the risk concept. We think that, say for example, snake is a risk or not? A snake, that reptile, is a risk or not? Sorry? Yeah, so it depends on the observer. For a human, it might be risk, but for a peacock or for some bird who eats that snake, it's not a risk. So the randomness, volatility, and all those things, that's not an absolute risk. It depends how you as an observer is positioned to that. For example, if you are a long option, you want randomness to happen. Things are uncertain, things should happen because you are going to benefit from that. And if you are short option, we will pray to God that, no, this should not happen, this should not happen, this should not happen. So there exists some relativity with respect to the observer. So a lot of things are there. I don't want to go into those details because last session is on those things. My point is that even in factor terms, risk management terms, artificial terms, people globally are working on the performance analysis, how to detect the hidden risk in the portfolios, and then what should be the prudent risk metrics, how LLMs or artificial intelligence can be worked for the quant development, research and development, and all those things. So we need to do some serious research. We have a very rich ancient history. If you look that this is a place where Aryabhat, Brahmagupta, and all those people Ramanujam and all those people came. Even today, Ramanujam is seen as one of the towering figure of mathematics that fails artificial intelligence and all those things. So we come from that area. So, Chris, and that's why we are also trying to, we have CQF, we have CMT, we have CFA, and we have Times Pro, and then even Quant Insider, Quant Insti, means lot of, see, ultimately we are trying to, as a LAQSA, we are trying to do some education type of programs, short-term webinars and all those things, so that I want to, we'll be inviting some of the best people from the industry, locally, globally, and all those things. And I request that, because as we are evolving, you can take part of that, you can suggest and all, because ultimately it's for everyone, it's for the people, by the people, of the people, for the quant community. So that's where we are going to launch some industry-specific initiatives to learn for the community. I got the feedback that we need to educate even common people in the quant domain, and that is going to be beneficial for all the quant players. Because unless people know, unless your stakeholders don't know what exactly is quant, how they are going to take your product or anything for that matter. So that's how we have to look at it as a group. So how do you think, Chris, what initiative you, based on your global experience, you think that India as a quant community, because this is very new, we have CFA, you have CQF and all those things. And I CQF, Chris is also one of the part of my team, because I have a global consultancy firm in risk management where some of the world-renowned people work with me in that domain. So what do you think that how India should work on that front based on your global experience? Can you highlight some more things?
Yeah, I would say I've actually seen, I was one of the founding members of a CFA society in Japan quite a long time ago. And then I was back in the US, and then I was also on the board for in Kenya, in fact. So I've seen different models. I've seen the way the community develops and grows. And you know, actually for quite a while, Asia was the biggest, fastest growing market for a lot of these associations and organizations. And I can see, and what I really like, I would say, is that different groups can work together. You know, we're not we don't feel like we can learn from each other. So, you know, people who, you know, have a CFA don't feel like, oh, I can't work with you CQF guys. I'm on both sides of the fence. So I think, yeah, I think we just need to share ideas, learn from each other. And it does require an ecosystem, because, you know, I can go back to, you know, I was in the futures and options markets in Chicago. That's where how I got started. And so I saw that development curve of, you know, we used to have the locals and the prop traders, and then you had, you know, we had prop trading firms, which we would call them hedge funds now, but we didn't have that term back then. But you know, it started in the U.S. You know, so they were kind of the earliest to create that, you know, those types of communities, and in Japan, I guess, yeah, around the late 90s, early 2000s, hedge funds, there were very few hedge funds. And a lot of the hedge funds were just, you know, didn't hedge. They were they were just concentrated, high risk, just, you know, taking big bets on a handful of stocks. And we, you know, I was part of that in terms of, you know, growing the organizations, you know, just the spread of quant, but it really, you know, it requires an ecosystem and some critical mass. And now, you know, I mean, hedge funds are, you know, plenty of hedge funds and big, strong, you know, vibrant community in places like Japan, and now here in India too. So, yeah, it does make me really happy to see, you know, where you guys are at. I know there's still a long way to go.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for input. So ultimately, I am hopeful that I'm able to convey the message what LAQSA dreams for, that is going to benefit everyone. Say, for example, few of the topics that come to my mind for research. Do you know, I'm just asking to the audience, we often do backtesting and all those things. Do you know some of the methods where you can test a strategy without backtesting? This is the area of research, serious research. Because backtesting comes with overfitting and all those things. So people, some of the best known people in the world are working how you can test a strategy without backtesting. Or I'm telling you that a lot of issues exist in the biasness of the samples, or in statistics and all those things. So we need to do heavy research there on. And then we have in factors, we have a lot of things to do, how different factors, say volume, so value, momentum, quality, all these factors, you know, Abu Dhabi Investment Authority is working on that, how these things work in a scientific way. Not just by testing that value, momentum. What is the mechanism, scientific mechanism, how value, momentum, and all those things interact with each other in terms of factors. So we need to go to deep into those things while we do that is going to improve the performance in the long run for everyone. So that's what mission is of LAQSA, is that to create a platform where we could do some serious global standard research that could be circulated globally. We could bring them here, and we could take our own home ground research to the global stage. That is the dream of LAQSA, because we as a country, we have to accept that given our rich history, we are somewhere lacking in terms of research and development. So LAQSA attempts to fill and do those research, education, all those things. So that's the thing. I hope I'm taking time now. So I invite Joel to take it further. Thank you, Chris, for